Good morning. It's a beautiful morning today, coming to you from Panama. This psychology channel is brought on after seeing from a mother to a child the most insane psy-op I never dreamed I would ever encounter. Then going to nature for a time, and then coming back from that, and immediately starting to confront the rabbit hole that it's been deception behind most of the conflicts, including the one I honorably served as far as the entire world, right? And then going back to nature, staying in nature for years, and then finally saying for a very high purpose, the same purpose that I make a video for, because before this, I was invisible on the internet. But for one person, I have come to do this. But this subject can help all of us, right? And I'm your fellow journeyman here. And we're on a study together. And I will be studying this every single day in the mornings, because that really piles up. So stay with me, and we will all together push the line of consciousness against, forward of growth and backward of control freaks, right? So let's go over, there's a lot of debate out there on what the exact percentage of deceptive people are. Now, this is going to change in different communities. I've seen communities where everybody's deceptive. I wouldn't trust anyone as far as you could throw 20 to 30% are situationally deceptive. 20 to 30% of people are situationally deceptive. I guess I might be in that category at sometimes too. Not really. I think situationally silent is an approvable. By the way, we just care about getting our wings in stage 2. We're going to do the right thing. We're going to tell the truth. We're going to go into our next endeavor, enterprise, mission, one-on-one with a person, stepping from all right things and all truths for years. This is the point that we're really after now. This is baby boo-boo step 1. All right, 4 years, we have done the right thing and told the truth. And we come into our next thing responsibly, caring, authentic like that, right? Now, Chase Hughes, the teacher, one of the grand teachers of PsyOp in our age, he says, well, you can ask a person, are you authentic? And if they say right away, oh, I'm the most authentic person you'll ever meet, they might actually be. If they've thought about it, if they know what authenticity is, if they've studied with us, they might actually have that answer cocked and ready and it be genuine. 60 to 75% of people are generally honest. 60 to 75% are generally honest, though imperfect, right? And 5 to 10% of people are chronically deceptive. Now, if you commit yourself, chronically deceptive people, they drifted into this usually, and they've committed themselves simply to the wrong higher purpose. It's good to commit yourself to a higher purpose, but if your higher purpose is actually part of your lowest self, because we all want to do certain things at certain times, you know what I mean? There's several people I'd like to chop their head off and kick it down the street, right? But I don't. I don't cross these major lines. And that is also, I'm sure, because of what we've already covered, that I'm stepping out of honorable things into honorable things. Because if I had done a bunch of little crappy lies to everybody and screw over my family and, knife this person in the back and double talk and gossip about people and all that, I would have been in great position and posture to get caught up in right, and make a bad decision when it really mattered. So that's why I get up at 2 a.m. I start doing burpees. At 5 a.m. I'm making video. I'm done studying. This is the time where we sharpen the blade, right? And I'm gonna try to get into. I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but I'm gonna try to get into doing this stuff live. Whenever it grabs some more people, and then we can just have a comment section below, those live comment sections below, right? And kind of bang it out and get our study done. And once again, if you want to identify what the number one thing is in the modern age, and if you want to free everybody by freeing yourself, it's really truly becoming a specialist at identifying deception and identifying psy-op behavior. And once you identify the psy-op, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you get the behavior pattern completely down, and how do you do that? Repetition, brothers and sisters. All of this, any new skill, is just a matter of 1,000,000 reps and 1,000 recoveries. Okay? So like I told you, I have witnessed the most insane psychological operations imaginable played out between mother and child, government and body, human body, a decade-long rabbit hole. I discovered my own service, honorable service. I disappeared into nature and reset. When I returned, I saw psy-ops everywhere, and I saw how false belief clips people's wings. I saw how anytime a person's living a false belief, it clips their wings. Now, when we go over these points, you're going to be like, yeah, let's do this. All right. To identify if a psy-op is in place, emotional hijack precedes facts. If the message hits fear, shame, outrage, or guilt first, facts seconds, or never, you're being informed. You're being steered. PsyOps aim to short-circuit reason, not persuade intelligence. And listen, if I can justify what I'm doing by moving my lips and say that something happened that never happened, and that my response and what I'm doing is a response to that, and then say, look what he's doing as a response to what I did. Do you see that pattern? Okay. At the end, because the reaction, if they're taking a person's reaction and putting it into a base thing that they probably invented, and making the two, that you cannot justify this action of the narcissist, of the person who doesn't go by the golden rule, who deceives their whole family, who causes drama and deception, and like I said, invents this drama, and then the person who reacts to it, because it's wrong what they're doing somewhere in there that they're taking your attention off of. That's not what I'm doing. I'm protecting. I'm this. I'm that. No, they're not. They're lying to everybody. And this person's pissed, and now that reaction's being used against them as well. And all you all are just going along with it. That, I just described every international conflict almost of the last. All right, so that's what I'm saying. Then you're just like, wow. There's a lot of deception lately, Candace Owens for president, right? All right. PsyOps aim to short-circuit reason, not persuade intelligence. They aim to short-circuit reason, and not persuade intelligence. We just need to get smarter, ladies and gentlemen. Binary framing. You're forced into two choices, good versus evil. with us or against us, safe versus dangerous. Reality is always multi-layered. Binary thinking is a control structure. You may want to break things down to black and white for yourself sometimes, in discussion sometimes, to just ease the argument a bit, right? But let me propose that let's start an open-minded discussion culture to where we have fingerprints. We're not supposed to be robot copies of each other. We're supposed to think different stuff, right? That diversity makes the ultimate conclusion. It makes the ultimate counsel. At some point, we're going to, Star Wars has been out for a long time. At some point, we're going to have to start re-evaluating this leader bullshit, just one leader, you know what I mean? We're going to have to start looking at councils. We're going to have to start looking at constructing new communities and having sustainable, a large portion of society be completely sustainable, then profitable, really looking out for their next generation, cultural, to where these guys are cowboy, Spartan, guys that take care of their business, families that take care of each other, live in nature, take care of nature, and do sustainable power grid, comportamentalized across. Like, we're going to get scientifically more reasonable at some point, you know what I mean? At some point, as much as a lot of people will try to clip your wings and hold you back and occult information from you or whatever, however you want to say it. At some point, intelligence has to catch up. And like I said, there's a very easy way, and you can go to nutritionaldiversity.com for more about this. But now, especially down here in Latin America, you will be surprised how little you've got to liquidate up there to get another piece down here and start diversifying what you're doing in a very much less regulated place with a much, much higher growth rate, jungle, right? Okay. And you can do amazing things, and we got it all hooked up for you. Repetition across unrelated channel. Same phrase, same narrative, same emotional framing. When media institutions, influencers, and random people repeat identical language, coordination is present. Now, the way they describe this in the frame of, you have one narcissist at the community, family, whatever level, and they're controlling a bunch of shit with this deceptive thing I was just telling you about. All their flying monkeys, as they call them, will just be repeating. What you'll find out is a lot of these cases, none of these flying monkeys have even seen the individual for more than 5 hours. You know what I mean? I mean, you can see modern psyops very easily a lot of the times. You'll see a person in this modality where, like, let's just say they'll be fat and telling a super fit herbalist, this is a true story, a super fit herbalist how to make a herbal remedy for sickness or whatever, right? A gym owner will be there with a super fit biologist who has a super diet and will be listening to this crazy obese person on sick remedy and never even asked, like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of confused cognitive, and there's a lot of people who talk a lot of shit, and there's a lot of people who will sit there and listen to that shit. And I want you to be someone who doesn't talk that shit and doesn't listen to that shit. Truly, all right? And because I really want to do a good job and helping people, so we don't talk to bullshit, and we don't listen to bullshit. We don't talk to it, we don't listen to it. Our time is so much more valuable than that. There's good people out here that need us to step up, right? And join the bigger, gooder message, which is just overall the best thing for you and your psychology, right? So, another thing is you might see a 22-year-old who's talking to a 44-year-old legend. You know what I mean? Like they're an old janitor that you shouldn't even be talking to that way, actually, right? You know what I mean? These kinds of conditions, that person's been psyoped, and the number one psyop, and Dr. Drew, and I put links in this one. I'm gonna put links in the last one. I'm mentioning these in the last video too. The new Dr. Drew narcissism has gone viral. It's truly an incredible piece on the new age that I'm talking about. And like I said, in certain pockets, those percentages I read to you earlier are way off. Certain pockets. And also in Helsinki, Finland. It was crazy. We were just there a few months ago with a beautiful person. What's up, Andreas, if you ever see this. And they are such a clean city. I was so impressed. They were such good customer service people everywhere. And it said that if you drop your wallet in Finland, it's likely to be returned to you. People are that good. They are that ethical. And for that reason, they're also going through this incredible tech boom, alternative agriculture boom, and alternative energy, boom. And so, we got hopefully a green hydrogen fuel cell agriculture drone coming down the pike. Right, so get on the Spears tip today. Okay, so same emotional framing, right? One way that you could see a psy-op, and we've covered this since, when I was in grade school on Hitler, there was museums, and we actually dissected the art that they were using and all this stuff. Right, but if you're weaponized, if you're out of your chair screaming, and these are facts that you have no way of verifying in most of these cases, that's likely a psy-op. Character assassination replaces debate. Instead of addressing arguments, the focus shifts to who you are, what group you belong to, why you're dangerous, and this signals narrative defense, not truth seeking. All right. One defense I really need you to have too is when you can clearly see that a person is a Jerry Springer person. They have very loose lips. They criticize things they could never do, and they're just opinionated as all hell. Like I said, the 23-year-old who could live it to, these people they're not completely ungraduated. They're really just kind of worms in the can, slithering around, grasping for some sort of narcissistic fly off the other one, because they're all suffering the selfish disease so hardcore they can't get out of it. They can't see that, and they'll argue, I don't even have a mirror. How could I be a narcissist? No, but you only care about instant gratification, and you will lie to your family, and you will, do horrible things and deceive everybody that you know. A deceptive being is the thing you do not want to become, ladies and gentlemen. But we do want to be, but because we don't think, because we're working so hard to not be that, because we're so disciplined and committed, and we're not that. Our minds are not cognated that way, which leaves us blind to a lot of these manipulative beings out here. So a lot of the most honest people, they are also targeted specifically by these dubious people, because they're training themselves to smell for extremely honest, extremely capable people, because they're parasites, man. They're codependent, don't believe in themselves. They could have done it the real way, just like you're doing it the real way, but they drifted, as Napoleon Hill says, in Outwitting the Devil. They just slipped. They started lying, they started stealing, they started cheating, they started gambling, they started drinking, they started drugging, they started whatever. And one thing after another, when it came time that they were highly tempted to do something wrong, they couldn't resist it. It was too easy too, because there'll be a system set up for it. And that's what I'm saying. Once you see all the various degrees, what is happening in the home, then family court, then what's wrong with that, then the history of, then it's then the feminist movement, then the BLM, then the, right, you know what I mean, the anti, then the this, then the, it was just like, wow, man, it's really, really absolutely wowing, and how well the psy-op is able to move such large bodies of people in such different ways, and even caravans of them all over the globe. And it's just like really interesting watching the power, the control freaks as they stand. Now, by the way, if you start to get out of your chair and you want to kill some control freaks and not do jail time for it, VoodooBreaker.com, video game project. Got the new 2025 World Tour t-shirt out. Just wait till you see 2026 tour. All right. So we're gonna character assassinate, right? Character assassinate. Never mind the issues. What, you didn't dot your T, you cussed too much. You didn't deliver well enough. Wait, no, but what about the message? Yeah, it's your fault. No. Urgency. Act now. Believe now. Decide now. Come on. This is basic sales here, You don't let anyone have you pull the trigger now. Like that. Permission, structure, inversion. You're told who is allowed to speak, what questions are acceptable, which curiosity is harmful. If someone's telling you not to listen to somebody, you should go listen to them. All right? You should go find out exactly what someone's trying to keep you from. What questions are which curiosity is harmful? When curiosity itself is framed as immoral, control is active. When curiosity itself is framed immoral, control is active. If you can't go find out for yourself, investigate and report to your committee who wants to know, who wants to get the valid soldiering from one of their captains out on the street who's going to bring back an excellent report that they respect. Do you understand? Okay, but if you don't go there. You can't go there. That's after everything he's you can't go find out for yourself. You can't go investigate for yourself. You're being controlled. False authority stacking. Multiple experts cited who reference each other, share funding sources, never debate openly. Authority is performed, not earned. That's the problem we have with today. You know what I mean? We got all these career politicians, actors, and rich kids and all this. We need war heroes who can do the push-ups and get in the cage at least and get in the battlefield and all that. Real super hard to put themselves to the test in every way. Elect on merit, give credit where it's due. Let us have a small community where we can elect our own that's like that and watch how productive that we are, you know what I mean? With less. We will do more with less. So, moral licensing. The message implies because this is good, any action is justified. No. Audit all things, especially internally. What am I doing? What is my hand in? Why am I helping this person? What are they doing? Is my hand in assisting some sort of horrible thing? I had someone actually kidnap a kid and bring him to my house in Panama. I was like, who's the kid? I want to see him talk to his dad. Get the fuck out of here, right? You know what I mean? Like, no, you're in just a minute I'm going to report you too because I can see what's going on. You know what I mean? Just only because we have history, I'm not going to report you, but you need to take that kid back to his dad. You need to consider the consequences for him, what you're doing. All right. Isolation of dissenters. Questioners are labeled, mocked, shadow banned, socially punished. Healthy systems absorb dissent. Ops eliminated. Moving goalposts. When predictions fail, definitions change. Metrics shift. History is rewritten. Reality doesn't move. Narratives do. If you're dealing with a deceptive individual, all the promises they're giving you right now, none of those are going to come through. They're not going to come out the way they've been said. So if you need that to add in, and you want to take more of a beating and take more time with your wings clipped and not change your environment to change your life, that's on you. Identity fusion. Beliefs become identity. If you question this, you are that kind of person. Selective outrage. Only certain harms matter. Others are ignored and justified. Oh, that's interesting. That's that slippery slope right there. Punishment of pattern recognition. If you start noticing shit, they'll start noticing that you notice. Believe me, these people and the body keeps the score. I'm telling you, I know of two of them. One's my mother, one's my kids. And they have both aged significantly faster than they should have. They have come into unhealth and tooth decay and, you know what I mean? Just like off of just horrible lifestyle. You know what I mean? Not that they get in the ring or a horse kicked them in the face or, you know what I mean? They've gotten down in the ring 100+ times or whatever, you know what I mean? Or on the football field. Okay. You're a conspiracy, dangerous, extremist, you know what I mean? Disloyal. No, you're gonna do this with this. We are family. You know, who cares if we fucking lie to you and abuse you the whole time? Just family, you know. I tell everybody, like, the worst one is when you're just looking back saying, oh, wow, fuck, what a talented individual with such a shitty family. I hope they're able to get away from that. If they do, they will be a diamond right out here in the alternative living circuit, building their own, you know, multiple farm empire. And you're not baller until you got your own agriculture. Sorry, you know. And what are we really doing anymore? At this point and this height of deceptive practice, as I'm telling you about, it's time for a conscious expansion. You know, I'll drive the supercar in another life. Reward for compliance. You know, compliance brings promotion in the flying monkey order, you know. Praise, visibility, safety, access. Silence or agreement. I know what it's all about now. You know, I got some gang mentality myself. But now, any gang I'm on is just doing the right things and telling the truth and doing good stuff. Because, man, we can make millions and millions of dollars out here doing good things and never doing anything wrong. We don't need to do that. In fact, why jeopardize all the good things and all the potential to do more good things off of doing something shady? I'm the #1 cat, and I hang in the hoods. You know, I get along with more hoodsters than I get along with business suits. I'll tell you that, right? And I have the same thing to say to everybody, because I'm straight, and that's all I'm ever gonna be. And I tell people, don't even have the conversation around me. That's stupid of you. You know what I mean? I'm not on that page no more. I'm on a whole different page, you know what I mean? Don't fucking have that conversation around anybody that doesn't need to hear it because they're not involved with it, you know? You fucking moron. All right, the clearest meta sign. The truth seeking itself is treated as a threat. If you're truth seeking at all, if you question anything and at any time, you're disloyal. I get it. And people want to be loyal Americans. They want to be loyal daughters. They want to be loyal sisters and brothers. But you gotta, you gotta do what's right and tell the truth and tell it to them before they do something stupid too. And if they've already done something stupid, then you gotta let them deal with the consequences of that on their own. Because while I salute a person who can change without being in the face of dire consequences, most people are not going to change, especially weak people. If they're on the negative end of the spectrum, if they're doing bad things, if they're deceiving people, that's a weak person, period. It takes strength to do what I'm talking about, right? Strong and weak going forward for all of us and the Schematic Club that knows what's up are natural enemies. They're natural enemies. Do you get it? So you got to really watch what you do with these fucking fools over here. Because being stupid enough to do too much over here is going to ruin every potential you've got over here. It's a true statement. Everybody knows this. It's a prerequisite to big success. It's being able to cut no matter how much you love. And you don't even really have to cut them, but you have to detach yourself from anything that has manipulated and psy-opped you, and that includes the television. That includes the Netflix. That includes, if you can't see how you can measure, you can look at studies, and they've chained all of this together. You know what I mean? Certain culture trends are completely tied to what's being portrayed by the Hollywood sickos. I pulled kids aside in Philadelphia way back when, and I talked to them about the way they were dressing. And I said, there's no way this is your real culture, and fucking someone's laughing somewhere, and blah, blah, blah. We became friends. Then, now you see Diddy on the thing, we control how you sag your pants. He said specifically that, how you dress, how we control all this shit. It's just like, what the fuck? And then this guy, Lucian, with the red glasses, is the boss of him. And is the one with the highly contradictory message to procreative trajectory, right, of humanity. So listen, there's some critical lying can be momentary, but deception is pattern, strategic, and persistent. So they may be fucking brutally honest with everything else because they know they're hitting you with something, and they're freaking. They're like, if this person ever comes out of this mind control thing, and some of the stuff you see from politics is bold, and some of the things you see, like from 50 Cent's oldest kid's mother, is bold. From David Goggins' daughter's mother is bold, because these guys are in the spectacles. David Goggins, a hero in the entire world, but not his own daughter, because of a psy-op. Environment matters. It really does, you know. And if you're in systems that reward dishonesty, deception rates skyrocket. That's family court. In systems that punish it, deceptive people hide or fail. We can investigate all of these child traffic kidnapping cases. We can investigate people for saying known lies at committee hearing. You know, that's perjury. We can start jailing and going after all of these people if we didn't have a corrupt administration that was in on half of this shit. Or who knows what the fuck is going on. I definitely don't. And I'm not here to make any kind of political commentary. I am telling everybody it's so untrustworthy enough, you really just have to stop paying attention to it. That's reason one. Reason two, if I'm not helping something, I need to be somewhere else where I am helping the thing. That's my destiny. That's how you navigate your right? You want to be constantly helpful. Chapters, adventure, a library of chapters. Something doesn't want you to have that. Something wants to cut you out of all of that and have you in a sterile room for as long as possible, eating a bullshit food supply, going and cycling back in half of what you've pulled out for medical bills at some point soon. The uncomfortable truth. You don't need a majority to deceive a population. A small, coordinated minority amplified by authority, media, fear, and incentives can steer entire societies. In the middle complies and the honest stay silent, right? If the middle complies and the honest stay silent. If the middle complies and the honest stay silent. Well, I wouldn't have come on the internet if it wasn't for this one person, but I feel good about not saying silent now and leaving something, right? You know, because if something happens to me tomorrow, unfortunately, not much. What I had set up was destroyed, and I haven't really had the incentive, I guess, to really set up too much else. So I want to at least leave where I'm at and what I feel like is important, you know, and I don't want any of the people that I love and care about to be steered by anybody in any way. I want to see you free, thriving. If anything falls on my plants, you know, a branch on all my plants here that I love, I will remove that branch. you know what I mean, if some horrible psyop is falling upon someone that I love, I will try to remove that psyop in every single way that I can over years. And without result, I'll keep trying. And I've shown that. I've actually shown that, right? So I put my time in. I've really super studied. I'm putting together project scenarios so that the study can be better. And I know a couple of you don't like when I'm reading from an outline a little bit, so I will do some straight through, right? But on these morning things, cause I really actually do have some straight through rants that climb all over the place. But right now, as I do the fundamental episodes for this psycho-schematic channel, I really just want to kind of stick to the books, because real G's, believe it or not, triple down on the basics. All right, you know, real Muay Thai guys, they've got all the basics so down. Boxing, you've got to have all the basics so down, right? You know, and you just drill the basics, drill the basics, drill the basics. It's the same way in life, guys. If you don't have those basics at 5 million reps a year, every single year, you're wrong. You're wrong. And that means mental, physical, spiritual, financial, you know what I mean? Now we're growing brick by brick, and we're not distracted. We're not doing what's on the billboards, all right? And we're definitely not dumping poison in our bodies. That's a pretty good one right there. You know, I get off the airplane in adult Disneyland, and it's nothing but chocolate, sugar, and alcohol everywhere. That is impressive. I turn on the kids' cartoons, and I'm like, this is the programs we're making for children? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, we have such a potential to make such a better thing, VoodooBreaker.com. When we want to make a video game that makes kids grow, the parents can recommend, actually, you know what I mean, that has wisdom in it, not just slapping hookers and taking cars, you know, which is fun, right? So we got lots of we got a little pilot, we got a dream, we got an idea, we got a little bit of a momentum. We'll see where it can go. We'll see what can come behind all these different ideas. Isn't it wonderful to just work in the unknown, to be that few that has the bravery to take risk with their life a little bit too? All right, so we are walking a tightrope. It is this thing of balance. You do want to be a bit savage and risky, but super ethical, moral, and honest. All right, guys. Much love. Let's go. Till tomorrow.